Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank for the round of. I think we're gonna go with Comic Corner. Let's do that. Let's do that, and we're gonna get right into it with the new champion of Shazam by I believe this is Joseph Scott Camp. Might be. I probably got the name wrong. So this is an interesting story. It actually came out last month, and I was like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But pickings was slim this week. It was actually kind of weird. So I like, you know what? Let's pick this up and see what we think. So the premise of this story here starts off with Mary. So Mary's coming in. She's sort of like trying to figure out how to like define herself and her life. Up to this point. So before she was the daughter that that was unwanted. Then her time running away from different foster homes, and then finally finding a place where she felt she belonged with her family, and her own life, and what the events led her to where she is now. It's because Mary is going to college, and the family's sort of in a weird spot. So one would think she wouldn't go now, but you gotta go. Um, because currently Billy is sort of stuck in the Rock of Eternity, like he sort of put himself there during the events of Titans Academy, a book that I've never heard anything good about and did not feel incentivized to read, so it'll just stay there. It will just stay there. And I think the best thing about it is really just the scene where she leaves Darla. Darla, who's the youngest, who really just likes the idea of the family being together. It's nice. It's sort of quiet tears because they've already said their goodbyes, but it still hurts, especially more like now that Billy's gone, and their connection to the Rock of Eternity is gone with it. But whatever. Mary, says her goodbye to her to her adopted parents. Like this time she was a daughter that was wanted, and this is the family that she chose to be a part of. So great moment, and here she is now going to Vassar. Alright, look at it. Nice old pretentious Ivy League school. No, still looks nice though. She meets the friends there. She gives herself a new name, sort of rediscovering herself in college, in the world of academia. Calls herself Marina, and as is customary with girls in a college setting, love poem of the end, such a feminist literature. I'm like, oh god, look at these flower children. Oh god. Anyway, Marina's all set. She's going to orientation, and next thing you know, the rabbit one of the girls had is in her bag. Like, hey, I was sent by Billy, and he wants me to tell you that you are now the new Shazam. All right, and she's like, no, who tell Billy that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Well, no, that's what Billy said. He told me to give the message, and you're gonna give me some carrots, and we're all gonna be good. And she's like, no, I'm in college. I'm not here to do that. Whole new chapter of my life. And I just realized that this entire auditorium is seeing me have an argument with a rabbit. And so she runs out, but the wabbit teleports her to a bank and says, this is why you're still needed. This is why there needs to be a new champion of magic, which I don't think this sells it, because this just looks like a dude with technological powers. I'm like, well, anyone could fix this. So we're not quite seeing what's going on here. But anyway, Mary Shazams up. Looking all nice. I still like the longer hair better, but whatever. It is what it is. And she gives the old 1-2 punch, but also because there's only one champion now instead of the whole Shazam family, all that power is now up to one. Because remember, the whole point of the Shazam family was it was Shazam's power divided into his siblings. Now it's all in Mary. And she gives the old one. No 1-2, just one piece. So she goes off, take the rabbit. I'm like, look, I'm not doing this. Look, that was a bank robbery. Look, Black Adam could do this. He can't do it. By the way, Black Adam is like dying or helping out with something else. It's weird. Continuity is weird right now. And it's a bank robbery. There's like 100 other heroes that could deal with a bank robbery. It is not hard. Anyway, she goes there. She's met by the police officer. She thinks she's in trouble for stealing someone's wabbit. But no, it turns out her parents, her foster parents, have gone missing, and that's how the story ends. Ultimately, this story is, I think, a good start. I definitely will pick up issue 2. Mary is an interesting character. Well, she's not really interesting. She's a solid character. To act like there's some sort of great depths to her, I think, is a bit disingenuous. But we may discover new depths to her. She's not the. This isn't the first time one of Billy's siblings have had to take up the mantle of Shazam in a proper turn. I believe Freddy had to do it at one point, and I think it was with the Trials of Shazam. I read half of that, stopped. It wasn't bad. I was like, nah, you know what? I can read this another time. It wasn't gripping, at least for me. What the mystery is, I think, connects to why she has to be the champion of Shazam. I think definitely ties into why her parents are missing. So there'll be that. But also, it is a bit sad because, you know, Mary, who's always sort of viewed herself as sort of like the second mother of the family, and he was on her way to college, start his whole new life, is now being pulled back to have to take on this other role. And I do feel a bit bad for her. But at the same time, like, we already have... It doesn't feel like we needed to do it, but it is nice to see characters trying to start new chapters of their lives, and the life pulling them back in. So will Mary, like, I can't be here right now, I have to go look after my family, and work something else out there? Will one of her 2 annoying roommates actually be part of the problem? I hope so. I want them defeated. Anyway. Overall, this was fun. This was alright. I look forward to reading more. Next is Worlds Without a Justice League. Green Lantern by Philip Kennedy Johnson, old PKJ. He wrote the book Last Gods, which I heard was very good, also very expensive. And he's currently writing Action Comics, and he was writing Superman. Should I be reviewing Action Comics? I'm gonna wait till this whole World War story ends. It's good. It's good, but I want to... Anyway. So, this is still part of the whole premise where the Justice League screwed up in the fight against the Great Darkness and Pariah and whatnot. And they're all trapped in their ideal worlds. And I think in a lot of ways we should be looking at this to get a better look at our heroes and what they secretly want. So with Superman, we saw that what he wants at the most is just to raise his son John. Alright? And yeah, that was alright. The story wasn't alright, but the premise was. So anyway. This one's pretty straightforward. What John really wishes is to sort of have his cake and eat it too. That's kind of it. Well, that's not fair. So this story starts off talking about the Green Lanterns and the new state they're in, and how John became the Guardian. He's this great hero among the Green Lantern Corps, and also, John becomes the one that the Lanterns sort of pray to. Like, John, Guardian, protect. He's called the Guardian. It's kind of weird. Meanwhile, John has given up his ring, and is working on a farm he built, as an architect, and building a fence for his mama and his little sister. And it's all sweet. Then all of a sudden her sister goes crazy, like, oh, green-eyed, like, hey, John, Lantern Stewart, we need you. Many of us have fallen. We need your help. And the Bright Revenant is here, and it's kind of weird. I'm like, okay, what just happened? We get the crazy reveal. So it turns out that John's sister actually died a good number of years ago, and John, with his weird Green Lantern powers, when the Central Power Battery was destroyed, he remade it, sort of, and put it in his dead sister, or used it to bring back his dead sister. And she's back, and his mom is like, I feel like there's going to be a cost to that at some point. Like, there's going to be some huge price that we'll have to pay. It seems too good to be true. And John's like, no, it'll be fine. But the Radiant Dead, which is the monster that killed the Guardians, they're what's up there, and because of what we did, his sister can now sort of serve as like a communication device, because it's connected to the Central Power Battery. There's another reason why she's down on Earth. So John has placed a bunch of lanterns to protect Earth, while he also protects the Central Power Battery. I'm like, okay, weird. But I think what really sells it is sort of how John goes off as sort of what's called the Guardian. And what's interesting about this, as he beats the Radiant dead. I can't remember its name, and kills it and sort of tells the Atlanteans, "Hey, it's all right to deal with fear, but they should fear us." Boop boop ba doop, and it's all kind of all right. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I think what it really says is more about John. So John's ideal world is really where he's kind of Kyle Rayner when people kept calling him Ion. I mean, that's sort of it. Like John's ideal world is where, well, yeah, his sister's not dead, which is great, but at the same time, the Guardians are dead, and he gets to occasionally be a the savior of the Green Lantern Corps. It's it's sort of weird. I'm not quite sure if this is where we should have gone, but I think what Johnson was definitely doing was sort of staying within the realm that Jeffrey Thorne wrote for his Green Lantern. At least I think so. Now, granted, I haven't read all of Jeffrey Thorne's Green Lantern. I've read half of it, and it's all right, but I think it sort of speaks to other problems with the Green Lantern book that we. It's in a weird spot. It's in a weird spot. Overall, this is all right. I don't think it endears you to John outside of his sole desire to, bring his dead sister back to life. The problem is I didn't even know John had a sister to begin with, so this sort of felt like out of nowhere. Like, I know Superman has a son. It was like a big deal for DC Rebirth. But John, I didn't even know. I know John has a mom. That's kind of it. Like, John never mentions any other member of his family. So, who knows? Who knows? But then again, I didn't start reading comics until New 52. So, you know what? What do I know? What do I know? And finally, we have a little something from the GOAT himself. A little something from the GOAT himself. Beyond the White Knight. Why is it on this page? Beyond the White Knight, Red Hood. And this story was just a continuation of the whole story with Gan and Jason and this lesser enemy. And it really is sort of like of Jason sort of finding his own version of healing by training Gan. And sort of, trying to prove that he can do it better than Batman. But he also sort of realizes one of the reasons why Bruce took Jason in is because it makes things so much better. So much better when you have someone to train, someone to share in the madness and monotony with. And Gon wants Jason to be her partner, to be like, hey, you and me, we can go out there together and we can fight. And he's like, I can't do this. He still hasn't really gotten over what happened to him, the loss of being kidnapped by the Joker, tortured by the Joker, and then finding out that he'd been replaced by Dick Grayson. Yes, it's, as we said before, that was an accident that they just sort of rolled with, which works and doesn't work depending on how you look at it. So just like, you know what, I can't do that. I'm not going through that again. And he just sort of leaves. When he doesn't leave, he says, like, you know what, we're kind of done. They're like, we're kind of done. The whole Robin thing, no, we're not going to do that. But I'm going to get some food and we'll talk about it. Gon isn't that kind of person, though. She still believes that in the idea that Robin doesn't give up. And I think it's sort of interesting because it sort of reminds me of the concept of We Are Robin and Tim Drake and how he became Robin. The idea that Robin should stand for something. And that it's not just about how Jason feels, or how Dick Grayson feels about the mantle. Robin serves a purpose, and it's not just about, some kid in a costume. But anyway, she goes off to deal with the supervillain from the last one, and she works up her courage like she's afraid of heights. She's the grappling hook, and she's able to get over there, which I think is a really great scene. But I think it had been built up a bit more. Probably worked out a bit better, but whatever. She goes in, she fights the dude who's actually been trying to be really low-key, really quiet, like, I'm just gonna hide out here for, like, ever. But, no, I've been found out, so, yeah, I have to level this entire neighborhood, and, gotta rough you up, too. But Jason comes in like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And Jason's like, why didn't you listen to me? She's like, all I did was listen to you. And she talks about how, the neighborhood, Robin, it all has to stand for something more than just their own feelings. And then Gon drops a bike on the dude, which I love. His name's Phil. And I just love that scene. It's really great, but she gets knocked out. And Jason sort of snaps a bit while looking for her. When he's about to kill him, but then then he finds Gon, and he, takes it, lets the emergency team take her, and he sort of has another breakdown about the whole thing. He says like he should have known better, but he's like why didn't you come? Why aren't you here? Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you ever look for me? And Jason sort of realizes that he's what we said before. He's still not over what happened. Being in Gotham City hasn't helped that, and I think that's sort of it. Like Jason sort of came in and thinking he could do a better job than Batman, but he sort of realized that no, you really can't. But at the same time, he still has these other issues. He's still hurt. He's still angry. He's still not over this feeling of betrayal. And the problem is, he's never gone to talk to Bruce. He's never gone to say, "Why don't you look for me?" Then he'd find out that Bruce did look for him. Bruce looked for him for ages, and he couldn't find him. Then he thought he was dead. So yeah. But anyway, Jason, goes off, tries to get a better hold of himself. Realizes he, like most people who leave Gotham City, he realizes the best thing he can do for himself is to not be in Gotham City. So now we come to the present with Gan, saying like, since you left, I've sort of realized there's other ways to do this, other ways to make a difference in the community, in the neighborhood. And, instead of just, raising the fish, she's extended a hand out, helping out at homeless shelters, Meals on Wheels and whatnot. She's become a force in the community, even giving self-defense lessons. So that's great. But she also points out that she's forgiven him. That, he doesn't need anything from him. And she didn't want anything, that she made her own choices. But if accepting his apology is the best thing for him, to help him heal, yeah, it's accepted. But she also knows what's going on in Gotham City with Derek Powers and Bruce and all this going on, and she's definitely on Team Batman. And she's like, so you know what? We got to find Bruce. We got to help him out. So we're gonna go. We're gonna be awesome, and we're gonna totally steal this book away. Yeah, and that's how the story ends. So Red Hood as a story was all right. I think the first issue was better. I don't think we needed to see the eventual fallout, or maybe it could have just been mentioned as the story went forward. This is still alright. I like Gan. I really hope I'm saying her name right. I really like her character. Again, she really is sort of the best. She reminds me of Tim Drake in the Batman animated series, which was a fusion of the Tim Drake from the comics and Jason Todd, because at the time, that character and his life was revealed to be a bit too dark for TV. And which is weird because there's currently a Batman the Animated Series comic which continues the events and does introduce Jason. Although the finer details of that I'm not entirely sure of. I think what I'm most excited about this book is that this particular story is over. Again, it's not bad, but outside of Jason and Gan, I'm not really endeared to anything else. I really want to see the story going forward, which is the current story with Derek Powers and Bruce and Harley and Jace and Jackie and Bryce. Like, that is the more interesting story, especially with this much more depressed and cynical Gotham City, which, it's very hard to be more depressed and cynical than any other version of Gotham City. Overall, though, still fine, still got the job done, still was a great story. And could there be more from this? I don't know. Who will take over the mantle of Batman after this? Who knows? Bruce says that, Batman has to die with him. Clearly won't. Terry might take up the mantle like I think we all expect. Or at the same time, Jason and Gan could be part of the new team along with Duke. And we'd see something come from that. But overall, I don't know. So anyway, with that in mind, brings me to a close here. If you're new to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some other videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. As always, may your fandom serve you well.